Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this session on getting started with Adobe Express Part 2. You didn't need to come to Part 1, so don't be panicking, but you're very welcome to this session where it's essentially going to take you from scratch through a couple of things that you could do with Adobe Express. My name is Nicole O'Connor. I'm the Education Community Lead here in the UK team, and I'm buzzing about this session because there's some really nice things that have landed into Adobe Express at this time of year. So it's a really great time just to get your feet wet and to try it out for size. Please do add your country, your school, what you teach into the chat. Let me know who's here. I will be popping in for any questions if needs be as well. Throughout this session, you can pause me. So if you're having so much fun with some of the hands-on elements and you're still creating and you would like a little bit more time, just pause. You'll be able to watch this session back on YouTube. You'll have the link for that in our follow-up emails as well. And you can also just reply to my email if you have any other questions or if you'd like to arrange any other bespoke training for your school, district, trust, so on and so forth. Right, let's get started because we actually have quite a few things to do today. One of them is to make sure that by the end of this session, you have this badge. So this is the Adobe Creative Educator Badge, ACE for short. So our ACE community is what we'll hear quite a lot from our team. This is like a really fast growing community in the UK and beyond. In fact, we're actually expanded across Europe at the moment. And we do have ACE communities globally. We are one big global community, but we're spreading out across the UK and beyond now, which is fantastic. You might also hear me talk about being an ACE leader sometimes. There will be a link at the very end for where you can find some more information about the ACE community and how you can get involved. But the ACE badge is what we're going to get today by the end of the session, which is essentially for getting hands-on with Adobe Express and for being a creatively minded pedagogue. So we're not just about being an Adobe educator, it's about being an Adobe creative educator. So you're applying creative thinking skills to digital tasks as well as offline tasks. So we'll get into a little bit of the research on that when we head over to this page. So down at the bottom, actually it's Get Started 2 is where we're going to. Let me just swap that out. Where is my clicker for it? There we are. So we're over on adobe.ly/get started 2. There we are. And that will take you to this page that you can scroll down through. So if you do need to nip off later or you want to show this to a colleague to be like, hey, this is some of the stuff that you cover in this session, you're very welcome to do so. So what we're going to do, we're going to get a little bit into the why behind classroom creativity. We're going to get stuck into Adobe Express and try out some of the lovely tools in there. We'll not be able to cover it all. That's why I do other ACE webinars and I break it down into some of the different tiles and some of the different features of Express. I'm going to show you a few examples, have a little look at some of the templates that are available for Express, and then we're going to get hands-on with that guided activity as well. So let's start off with some of the rationale. So if you just click on, if you open up this training resource page, you can just click on the images to make them larger. So one of the things that I really like about being an Adobe creative educator is this focus on the why behind creativity. So the why might seem like common sense for some of you, in which case you're already an ACE. But essentially, like, just take a look at some of these stats, and the full research report is on the link on this page as well. So it deepens engagement by 91%. Of educators noting that as well, so that there's better learning when students are tackling creative AI projects. So not just offloading all of our thinking to AI, but actually using AI to advance our ways of expressing ourselves and even some of our AI literacy skills as well that are going to be so essential for this new general purpose technology that we're experiencing. It boosts cognitive skills. So we're talking about that creative thinking, the critical thinking, communication, collaboration, knowledge retention and resilience are in there. Digital resilience probably doesn't get spoken about enough. It's definitely one of those skills that we're going to need in 2026 and beyond, because we're dealing with probably the fastest evolution of tech. It's moving at such a pace that us as teachers and educators also have to demonstrate some digital resilience. And buttons move all the time, new features are released all the time. So actually being able to navigate that with curiosity and with a little bit of playfulness almost, and bust out that big kid within you is really a helpful skill to have as teachers and as Adobe creative educators. And then lastly, we're looking at the complex problem solving. So being able to use generative AI and creative skills to make learning more personable, making it more meaningful, making it come to life. We talk all the time about bringing your learning to life with Adobe Express. So there's a whole, as I said, if I just X off this, there's a whole research report there where you can pull out more of that really rich data about the why behind creativity. But essentially, we know from even the late great Sir Ken Robinson talks about how, do schools kill creativity, and what happens if we do that, and how might we change that? Well, we can make everybody in school the creative lead and the creative specialist, and that's why we believe that all teachers are ACE, all teachers are Adobe creative educators. The second you're using an Adobe tool, you're ready to start being a creative educator. And then it's all about just boosting your skills as new features develop and are rolled out. So let's get a little starter on what is in Adobe Express for Education in particular. What's really handy is that there is a little tour, there's a little video in Express that shows you all the things that it can do. It is also, what I really love about it, it also has some built-in tutorials and self-paced courses. So let's take a little look at that. So I'm just going to hop over to my Adobe Express for Education homepage. Looks like this. At the moment, it has a lovely festive upgrade at the moment, because it is the 12 days of creativity right now, which is fantastic that we have so many more guided activities. But if you're completely new to Adobe Express, you're probably going, Nicole, what is a guided activity? Tell me more. And do keep coming into the chat here and let me know who's joining me today. And if you've ever used Express before, that's always an interesting one for me, especially on the Get Started course. So let's have a little look at, first of all, where that tutorial video is that I was talking about, where you can find out everything that it does. So it's in the Learn tab. So down the left-hand side in your Adobe Express for Education homepage, you'll have a little light bulb. Now, I know that I'm in the education version of Adobe Express because I've got this gorgeous tile layout. It's very colorful. But also up at the top, it says Adobe Express for Education. So if you don't see that and you're in an account that just says Adobe Express, you make sure you log in with your school account. So if you're in Northern Ireland, that's with your C2K account. If you're in Scotland, it's possibly with your Glow account. Wales, it's with your Hub account. And for friends in England and beyond, it's usually with whatever your school single sign-on is, whether that's Cleverlink, Microsoft, Google, so on and so forth. So try those out. And if you don't still have access to it, then you'll just be going to this little QR code that's underneath me. There's a link at the very bottom for how to get deployed with Express to give everybody this free premium tool for education. Let's go into this Learn tab then. So this little light bulb. And I can see as soon as I log on, or as soon as I click onto this, I actually have a big banner here to do a self-paced course. So that's another way that you can just top up your skills and learn a little bit more about the classrooms feature in particular. It's just been released in England recently, and it's rippling its way across the UK, Europe and beyond gradually. So you can start a course there and go through, video by video, little skills and things that Adobe Express can do. And of course, get your Adobe Creative Educator badge at the end, which you'll also get today. Some of the things that you'll see here as well are there's a whole page about the 12 days of creativity and some little tutorial videos explaining the concept of them. If I go back over here, I also see the classrooms video and then this tour of Adobe Express for Education. So if I just click into this one, and what I might do is I'll just put it full screen and I'll play a little bit of it just to give you a flavor, particularly because I know there are some people here who are brand new to Adobe Express. So let's have a little look at what it can do.
Welcome to your quick tour of Adobe Express for Education, the digital media app that engages student imagination and builds future-ready skills. In the next few minutes, we'll give you a quick tour of what's new, help you get oriented, and show you how to confidently create with Adobe Express. whether you're just getting started or picking up where you left off. Let's dive in. First up, introducing the new home. Redesigned with direct input from teachers and students, the updated home makes it easier than ever to jump in and start creating. The cleaner layout, faster navigation, and more intuitive design helps you find what you need quickly so you can spend more time creating. And don't worry, any projects you've already created in your Edu Express account are still safe in your stuff, exactly where you left them. Or here in the Recent Files scroll bar, nothing has been lost. We'll start by walking through what all users see: create and edit. If you're an educator, you also get an extra tab called Teach. The Create tab is your launchpad for starting something new in Adobe Express, with quick start cards to help you jump right into a project. From generating AI images, if your school has that feature enabled, and QR codes, to designing posters, infographics, and logos. Jump into ready-to-edit templates for videos, drawings, presentations, and web pages, or bring your voice to life with animated characters. The Create tab makes it easy for anyone to jump in and start creating right away. No design experience needed. Now
I'm going to take a little pause there. So quite a lot that you can do in the Create tab, which I love. And at the moment, if you're looking at your Adobe Express for Education page and you're going, Nicole, I only have Create and Edit. I don't have Teach. Don't worry, neither do I. And look, I'll prove it to you. Which one? Oh, I'm already in Express. Never mind, because I'm on this video. The Teach tab will come to you whenever Classrooms is rolled out in your nation. So for England, that has been switched on. So you will have the Teach tab. The other nations, it's getting there gradually. So just keep coming back and you might notice that there's an extra tab in there. I'm going to come out of this video now because you now know where it is. And if you want to go and watch the rest of it, you absolutely can. I just want to be your tour guide now and take you around some of the things that we're going to look at in this session. So I'm going to click the Adobe Express logo, the rainbow A, as I say to my students, in the top left corner, just to come back to the home page. So having a little look here, I can see that the 12 days creativity are very prominent, but if I scroll down just a little bit, there are some of the other create tiles that we just saw in that video. So let's take a little look over on the activity 1 page, what we're going to do. We're going to try out a guided activity. So I have put a link on and again, this link that's scrolling at the bottom, Get Started To. I have put a link here to send you straight to the guided activity if you would like to just hop straight into it. Or otherwise, you can find the guided activities over in the Learn tab, that one that we were just in, or you can find them on this little teal turquoisey tile here, says Try Fun Guided Activities, and it brings you to the Learn tab. And you'll notice that we're in a tab up at the top called Guided Activities. And there's the 12 days of creativity right there. So the one that we're going to do today is, I thought we would try out this one, create a spelling trading card. So if I just, you can see that there's a little link here. So I could share that, I could just click that to copy the link, and I could share that link with my students wherever I normally send them links, whether that's Google Classrooms, Microsoft Teams, Seesaw, Just Easy, wherever it is, or maybe you just straight up email them. Or maybe you want to go and turn it into a QR code in Express, you absolutely could. To do that, just click the plus and then search here for QR, and boom, there's how you can generate QR codes that don't expire. So that's really handy. Okay, that was a side quest. Love a side quest. Let's go into this guided activity and try out some features and see what we can get doing. So let's have a little look. We have a little tutorial video here down the right-hand side. So you can play it. You can see there, it's just a little over 2 minutes, nearly a 3-minute long video. You can make it full screen if you wanted to. And it will, if I just scrub through it here, it will basically show students like good examples, what a good one looks like, and then step-by-step instructions on what they're going to do for it. And what I really like about the guided activities is that they're sort of like really based on like good pedagogical principles of like universal design for learning and giving students that like multiple means of engagement with content. So you've got the video and audio, but then you've also got visuals and text below. So you can kind of hover over these images and it becomes quite large so that you can see maybe a little easier what that icon is, and gives you step by step what to do. So I really like that. So I'm just going to use these cards and the little step-by-step instructions to navigate this one. And let's go with creativity as the word. Sure, why not? Why wouldn't we? And all I have to do is click into the text boxes. And you see there, the second I clicked on something, I then got this like edit panel down the left-hand side here. So everything that I click, I can usually put some type of edit, effect, or animation on it. And really, once you start to recognize that, oh, if I want to change this image, how do I change this image? I have to click it first. Then you start to learn, okay, right, this is how I can edit it. I can put an effect on it. I can animate it. Or I've got a little replace button right there whenever I've clicked on it. Same with this shape, click on it. I've got edit and animation, so I don't have effects here. And I also don't have replace. So there's just a few little nuances, but essentially click it and then see what options you have for it. So I'm going to click in this again. So a double click really to edit the word. And I'm going to go, ooh, it'd help if I could spell. Creativity. I have to do all my sounding out. And I'm just going to make my font a little bit smaller using the edit panel on the left-hand side. You could also grab the corner handles if you wanted to see how that's making it. It's just shrinking the font size as well. So that's helpful. And then the pronunciation for creativity. I don't know if I know the phonics for it. I maybe should have waggled or Blue Peter moment that one beforehand. But what I might do is I might just like chunk it, you know, for doing blends. So I might go like, or, ooh, I know what I could do. I could say creative, you know, you do like the stems of words as well. So word, root, roots and stems. This is probably shaming my recall of word work back in the day. So, and then we've got create, creative, so on and so forth. So I'm just changing it up as I see fit. And again, I think that's what's really handy is I don't have to use this template the way it's being presented to me. I could switch it up entirely. But I'm just one of those people that finds it easier to start from something rather than nothing. So if I scroll down a little bit and I go on to step 2, it says replace the text on the rest of the template with relevant details about your spelling word and then update the icon in the origin box. Okay, so let's go with updating this icon first because we know how to edit the text. Just basically double click it and start changing it. And if you double click into it, you can also see here, that's how you change the colors. So again, it's all in the edit panel, which is super handy. But let's change this icon. So if I click on the icon, I can see just above it that there's a little bin. And I'm just going to click that bin and I've lost the icon. Done. Now, where do I go and add in an icon like this? Well, I'm going to go over to the left-hand side. And depending on which version of Express you have, you might have the Elements button right here. Or you might have a button that says Add Content. In which case, click the Add Content. It's usually up at the top. And you'll find an option for elements. Elements are essentially those design assets and backgrounds and icons, clip art style things, lots of stickers, little animated ones that you could find. So I'm just going to search for creative. I sometimes find that the drop-down menu doesn't disappear unless I click off it somewhere. And in the icon section, I'm just going to view all and find one here that I like. Ooh, big fan of this one. I'm going to click it in. And I notice that it's chosen the color blue that the last icon used to be. And also it matches the same blue as the background and of the text here. And that's because there's a page theme in action here. So if I was to click the theme button up at the top, there we are, I can search for different themes. So I could search for rainbow, for example, and I get all the primary colors. I could search for ocean. I could search for, you know, Christmas. So you can search for actual colors themselves, or you could search for seasonal themes or color themes, and you would find a whole bunch. Let's see actually what creativity comes up with. Does it do anything for creativity? Hey, apparently this is the color of creativity. Which one do I think works? Let me try this one. Ooh, And actually up at the top, I'm just going to like shuffle through these. That one's not bad. It's sometimes a little hard to read some of them if you haven't got like very accessible colors together, but you can always change these colors up anyway. And again, sometimes it's just nice to have something rather than nothing. John, I'm going to stick with that one. So that was just using theme up at the top. And remember, you can pause this video if you want to have a little bit more time searching through your color schemes and themes. And you know what? I think I actually want to change this one because I can't really see it anymore on that. So I'm just going to click it. The edit menu has opened up on the left. And when I click in here, I can now see my page themes up at the top. And I could swap this out for which one I think is easiest to see, which I think is this pink one. That works well for me. And I might do the same for this text here. I might just make it all the darkest color that I have on these really bright shapes. And that works for me. Great. I could, of course, go in and change the text here as well, but I'm more just now focusing on some of the other skills. Let's do the next step now, which is replacing the image using the Photos panel, or uploading your own and then style it to match your card design. So how might we do that? First thing we're going to do, hopefully you've predicted, is click it. Tap it, select it, whichever, depending on your device of choice. And right above it, I have the replace icon. Now, depending on where you've zoomed in on your page, the replace icon might have popped up at the bottom, but just kind of look around the perimeter of your image and then click that replace button. And it will ask you, where do you want to replace from? Do you want to replace from brands? Maybe you set up a brand kit. Maybe you have things in your library. Let me just scroll down a little bit so we can see all of it. Or photos. I usually choose photos because you've got access to like the full Adobe stock library that it's been filtered for education. So there are hundreds and thousands of images in there. Same with the videos, the design assets, and the backgrounds. Or you can go and add in your Drive or cloud storage as well if you want to get things from your device, or just replace it with something that you can upload from your camera roll or from your downloads or anywhere on your computer as well. I'm going to go with photos. And if let me just click that again, replace from photos. And I'm going to do the same thing where essentially, having a glitch. So the good thing when this happens is if there's ever a glitch, just refresh your screen. It's a bit like the IT crowd. And they say just like turn it off and on again. I think I'm actually having a bit of a buffer at the moment. Hopefully I'm coming back. There we go. I think I've just hit some patchy Wi-Fi at the moment. Right. Let's replace this image. So I'm going to click on it. Going to click photos. Ooh. Am I back? Technology. Sometimes love when this happens in live demos because you're just like, hey, this technology doesn't even work for the people who are somewhat techie. So eventually got there. Click, replace, photos. And it's remembered creativity from my icon search earlier. So I can just kind of scroll down through these and find an image that I think speaks to this, which for me is kind of this light bulb one. I think the light bulbs always speak well to creativity. I mean, that rocket's pretty good too. And sometimes I actually find that there's just too much choice with the stock library. There's just so many options that you could go for. Ooh, I quite like that one. And what I might do is just double click this image and move it over a little bit, like so. There we are. And that will work really well for me. Now, what I am going to do now, just to wrap this activity up, is we've changed some of the colors using theme already. So I did step 4 a bit early. The next thing is then to download it. So you could, maybe you want to do like all the words for a topic You could just go to the 3 dots and duplicate this page and keep making more versions of these like kind of flashcards. You could also bulk create. So up at the top, you see this like little bulk create button. I do that in one of my other sessions. I show bulk create in, I think in the templates one or in the posters and visuals one. But you could, if you had a spreadsheet of like all your vocab and the like key terms and the words and the definition and example sentence, you could just generate all of these flashcards in one go, which is really nice. But now let's look at sharing our work. So there's 2 things that we do. In the top left, you can see that you have this little like cloud, which just lets us know that our work has been saving to the Adobe Creative Cloud the whole time. But right beside it, if you click there, it will allow you to rename your work. And you can just call it whatever you want. I'm going to say an ACE flashcard. And then I can now download it. If I wanted to download it as a specific file format, I could. If you had any audio or video in here, it would allow you to then to download it as an MP4. Or I can click share. So what's handy about the share option is that this is where you could also collaborate with people. So if you wanted like multiple students to work together on one file or one project, they just type each other's Adobe IDs, basically their emails that they logged in with here, and then they can join the same project. Or you can share it to Google Classroom, to Microsoft Teams, to any of your cloud storage, and also as a view-only link. So the view-only link, whenever you click there, basically allows you to publish this as like sort of similar to like an unlisted YouTube video, if you're familiar with those. So you just basically create a link, let it do its thing, and then you can get in and look at the student's work. You can't edit it, but you can go in and have a look. So that link there, if I was to copy that, and if I paste it over here to let you see what it looks like. You'll see just a view-only version of this as well. Keep it like that. So that's adding in, that's sharing with a view-only link. It's going to be really handy instead of taking up storage space on your device, which I think is great. Let's hop back over here and have a little look at, you'll see I've also popped in a link for the 12 days of creativity. Have so much fun with those. Just get stuck in and enjoy all the festive fun. Let's have a quick look at activity 2, which isn't going to take me very long at all because it's essentially just adding voice in. So you can add in voice with a voiceover, with recording yourself, or with animating a character. So there's quite a few different ways that you could do it. To do that, if I go back to this template, I'm just going to go to the media button down the left-hand side right here. And you see it's a little picture and video. And up at the top here, I'm going to click on audio. And in audio, I have my record a voiceover, I have animate a character. And actually, if I went on to videos as well, I would also see a video record yourself. So if you have a front-facing camera on your iPad or Chromebooks or devices, then that's really handy there. Let's just go with audio for now. I show animate characters in some of my other sessions. It's a gorgeous tool that essentially lip syncs a character to your voice and animates it based on the expression in your voice. And it also has enhanced audio, which takes away background noise. So it's a gorgeous tool. But for now, I'm happy just to go with recording a voiceover. Give permission to your device. If needs be, it'll pop up saying, do you have consent to use your microphone? And you can see this little enhanced speech button is toggled on. So that's really handy. You don't need to be in a private recording booth to do this. You just start recording like so. What does it mean to be creative? Well, the word creativity stems from the word create, which comes from, insert all the answers here. I'll just finish recording there. And you'll see then, if I zoom out here, and I am having a nightmare with this one. So maybe I'm going to abandon ship here. Let me see, go into my edit of my timeline. There we go. All right. I just obviously talked longer than my scene, so I'm just going to stretch this out. a little bit. There we go. I thought it had completely lost my template, but it hadn't. Just having a bad tech day. So here we go. I would be able to listen to my voice recording. What does it mean to be creative? Well, the word creativity stems from the word so on and so forth. So there we go. Added in, we made a guide activity and we added it, enhanced some creative elements by bringing student voice into it. Some of the other sessions that I do cover that in a bit more detail, so do check those out. As I say, I have webinars pretty much all the time. So the adobe.ly/ACE training is where you would go for that. And if you're back on the web page for today's resources, scroll on down, you'll see a few other videos built in here to give you a little bit more information about classrooms. Again, it's only available in England at the moment for our European friends. It will start rippling out across the other nations very soon. And you can just follow a lot of those links there to learn more about how to set up your classroom and how to get started. I do cover that as well in the templates and teamwork session. And then the last thing to share with you is the Express Links page. Express Links is where we have all the links to our live lessons that happen every week with Dom and Meredith. So you don't need to be an expert in Express. Just let Dom and Meredith do it all for you. And put them on the screen and pause the video as they take your students through 2 amazing creative activities every session. And then, of course, when you sign up, even if you can't make it live, you get the recording and you also get certificates for your students. So it's a really lovely thing to do with your class. And it's kind of aimed at like Key Stage 2, Key Stage 3. So 7 to 13-year-olds are the target audience for that. Now that you have completed your session with me today, you can get your ACE badge with the link below that is ticking along the screen, adobe.ly/ACE badge. And that will allow you to download your Adobe Creative Educator badge and show it off with pride. I really hope to see you at some future sessions that I'm doing. I think I'm going to move, I'm going to put up some more dates for January and February shortly. So hopefully I'll be able to see you at some of those. And you have my email if you want to shoot me a message and ask any follow-up questions. You'd be more than welcome to. And other than that, I wish you a very happy December. I hope you take part in the 12 days of creativity. There's maybe something particularly fun if you complete all 12 of the activities that appears. So your students will definitely enjoy the surprise treat that comes up there. That's all from me. I'm very conscious that I've ran over time due to my little tech hiccups that were happening. But you know what? That is life. That's what happens. And other than that, hope to catch you at a next session and perhaps on socials as well. All the very best, folks. Peace, love.